Welcome, everybody. This is another bonus episode. We're still in our little mid-season bonus time.
So we're just taking it easy.
We're just chilling. We're doing some fun, easy stuff. We're still giving you episodes every week.
That said, where we're starting this off, I don't know if easy is necessarily the right word.
Low effort, perhaps. Definitely not easy. This is, as you've seen from the title, if you read the titles of these videos, maybe you don't, this is our, I guess jokes and riddles episode, but it started with a very specific premise, right? So we might get onto other jokes and riddles. Maybe we won't get out of this premise. We'll see how it goes. I was reading the other day 2 short stories taken from Sketches by Boz, which was Charles Dickens's first thing. And in one of them, the steam excursion, a character popped up and was referenced as being an Astley Miller an Astley something Joe Miller type. And I went, this is hilarious because this is clearly a mid 1800s or mid to late 1800s reference that I don't know anything about. I looked up the first part of the name. It was the name of a famous
it did say that he was
surgeon.
Which was odd because didn't it describe him as a bit comic?
Yeah, kind of a funny, kind of a weird guy. And so I looked up Joe. So I went, who's Joe Miller? And I found a book of Joe Miller jokes.
Because this one was the comic, apparently.
So this was the funny part, right? I found on Gutenberg Press the book Joe Miller's Jests. This one printed in 1865.
And you read a couple of them out to me last night. And, it's always fun to look back in history and find all of the things that connect us, like ancient Roman graffiti and those things, and say, oh man, people haven't changed.
None of these jokes. But now, I would like to give context to this that I just looked up, because I thought before we should do some of these, I should look up Joe Miller.
All right.
First of all, 1865?
He was dead.
Way dead.
Really? Okay.
Way dead. I'm going to give you some bio of Joe Miller.
Okay.
Ready? Joe Miller, 1684 to 1738.
Oh, okay. Yep, very dead.
Was an English actor who appeared in the cast of Sir Robert Howard's Committee at Drury Lane in 1709 as Teague.
Okay.
He was
I feel like I've
Trinculo
heard
in
of
the
Drury
Tempest.
Lane players or something.
I think they got mentioned in this book, in this set of jokes.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know.
He was the first gravedigger in Hamlet. Although presumably he played first gravedigger, not he was in the first production of Hamlet, right? Maybe 16. No, because it was 1684. No, completely 100 years later. Marplot, and so it's just a bit of an unknown act. Seems like a fairly minor actor. Right? So all of this, he just did a bunch of random acting things, whatever. His final performance was the 13th of April, 1738. But here's where we get to this, right? Here's where we get to Joe Miller's Jests. Are you ready for Joe Miller's Jests? After Miller's death, John Motley, himself 1692 to 1750, right? So brought out a book called Joe Miller's Jests, or The Wits Vademecum, published under the pseudonym of Elijah Jenkins Esquire, and it cost 1 shilling.
Okay.
It was a collection of contemporary and ancient coarse witticisms, only 3 of which are told of Miller. I don't know how that works.
What?
Right? His first edition was a thin pamphlet of 247 jokes. This version we've got had 500 at least.
Uh-huh.
This ran to 3 editions in its first year. And then later, but not wholly connected versions were entitled with names such as Joe Miller's Joke Book, The New Joe Miller, etc., etc. Joke books of this format were common even before this date, so it'd be fun to find some other ancient, old couple 300-year-old joke books. But this is where I get that maybe it wasn't a time thing that made us not think these jokes were funny.
Oh, okay.
Owing to the low quality of the jokes in Motley's book, their number increasing with each of the many subsequent editions, any time-worn jest came to be called a Joe Miller, a Joe Millerism, or simply a Millerism.
Oh,
so
God.
Specifically, it was bad jokes.
This is a bad joke book.
So this is bad jokes that people thought were bad in the 1700s, republished with hundreds more in 1856, according to this
Joe
one.
Miller.
So especially because he was an actor. He didn't even write the book.
This is like Mr. Guillotine.
He didn't even write. But look at this. Charles Dickens also referenced Joe Miller in A Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay. He was
by the character Scrooge, who remarked, "Joe Miller never made such a joke as sending the turkey to Bob's will be." And Dickens also references Joe Millerism in Sketches by Boz, but it references a different one in chapter 1 of The Boarding House. But this person didn't get that he also references it in The Steam Excursion.
Just really knows Joe Miller.
So Dickens loved Joe Miller. Isaac Asimov refers to Joe Miller's joke book on page 552 of Asimov's Guide to Shakespeare.
Is this just a thing? All you really literary people out there, is just a thing that everyone in the field knows about?
Maybe.
Are we latecomers?
So let's have a crack at some of Joe Miller's jests with copious... So this one is called... The book here is Joe Miller's Jests with copious additions.
Oh, God. Does this mean that for the more legit ones, we should be at the start, or will it absolutely not matter?
I don't know.
All right, we'll just find the short ones.
I'll read you the copy of the title page to the original edition. So, I don't know, this edition is 1865. This may be from even earlier, but Joe Miller's Jests, or the Wits Vade Mecum, if you remember.
Yeah, what is that word?
A handbook.
What language is...
Latin.
What?
Means go with me.
Oh, is it 2 words?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or pocket reference. May also be referred to as an enchiridion.
Oh, fun.
So we'll change it to that. The Wits Enchiridion, being a collection of the most brilliant jests, the politest repartees, the most elegant bon mots, and most pleasant short stories in the English language. First carefully collected in the company, and many of them transcribed from the mouth of the facetious gentleman whose name they bear, and now set forth and published by his lamentable friend and former companion Elijah Jenkins Esquire. So this is meant to be from that original version.
Okay.
Most humbly inscribed to those choice spirits of the age, Captain Bodens, Mr. Alexander Pope, Mr. Professor Lacey, Mr. Orator Henley, and Job Baker, the kettle drummer, London, printed and sold by T. Reed in Dogwell Court, Whitefriars, Fleet Street. Oh, it's got an MDX. It's got a date. What's that?
Oh, fantastic.
MDCC.
Okay, 17.
39.
Ah,
Okay.
excellent.
So this is referencing 1739.
We shouldn't have read that. We should have tried to figure out what year it was based on the jokes.
Then there's a preface talking about Joe Miller. But let's skip that and let's get past the preface. Let's get to the jokes. Here we go, everybody. Are you ready for these great, great jokes? What we're going to do is we're going to read them out, and then we're going to try and figure out why they're a joke, and then we're going to try and see why they're funny.
Okay.
Most of this is going to be us having no idea, but this is a puzzle. This is us doing puzzle-based content for you. Here we go. Ready? Number 1. They're so hard to read as well. I tried one before. They're so hard because they're written with nonsensical grammar. Okay, here we go. The Duke of Athol, who says more good things than anybody, being behind the scenes the first night of the Beggar's Opera, and meeting Cibber there. Well, Collie, said he, how do you like the Beggar's Opera? Why, it makes one laugh, my lord, answered he, on the stage. But how will it do in print? Oh, very well. I'll answer for it, said the Duke, if you don't write a preface to it. There is a footnote, though, that says, see Cibber's preface to Provoked Husband.
Oh, for God's sake.
So is Cibber a famous bad preface writer?
Can you Google that?
Hold on, there's a link. Okay, hold on. We're going to Google Cibber's preface to Provoked Husband. This is necessary context for the joke, everybody.
Which is always good for a joke.
Cibber's preface to Provoked Husband.
How is Cibber spelled?
Cibber.
Oh, not at all what I would have thought.
Okay, The Provoked Husband is a 1728 comedy play by British writer and actor Collie Cibber, based on a fragment of a play written by John Vanbrugh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so people hate the preface of it?
I don't know. Let's find the preface. I found
How many hours do we need?
I can't find a copy of it. I've got a Wikipedia entry for it.
But okay, so 11 years before this book was written, Joe Miller and his friends were all laughing about this bad preface that this lady wrote.
Joe Miller was in the play. He played Moody.
Wow, so this is just a joke book of, hey, I was ribbing on my friend or my
so
boss.
Weird. Okay, so we don't have the context for that one. That's all right.
I think we've got all the context for that one. The joke book is just awful. It's like saying, no, trust me, it really works for these people.
You can read number 2 for me.
Okay, seems to follow a bit of a pattern. We've got some more show business going on. There being a great disturbance one night at Drury Lane Playhouse,
Okay. Oh, Drury Lane.
Mr. Wilkes, coming upon the stage to say something to pacify the audience, had an orange thrown full at him, which he, having taken up, making a low bow. "This is no civil orange, I think," said he.
And that's it. That's the joke.
it.
So we've got to figure out what the hell
The
civil
audience
orange
was
is.
unhappy. Mr. Wilkes came on stage to say sorry. Someone threw an orange at him, and he said, "This is no civil orange."
Civil
What does that
orange.
mean?
Oh, is it a joke because bitter oranges used to be called Seville oranges?
Seville oranges are a thing.
It might be. Is it a joke on Seville orange?
It feels like it should
Oh, wait.
be.
Civil as an orange.
Possibly.
Oh,
no, even
Here we
better.
go. Here we go.
Okay.
Back in Shakespeare's day, the
Ooh.
city of Seville
Yeah.
was where bitter oranges
Yeah.
was where bitter oranges on. That doesn't make any sense. And so the civil as an orange is a play on words from some. It says that Claudio is very bitter, so it must be. It's a reference to. It's in Much Ado About Nothing. Shakespeare makes the quip that a character was civil as an orange.
Okay. So
And I think it's a joke about the fact that Seville oranges are a thing.
yeah, sure.
That's a pun.
Makes
It's a pun.
sense.
So he's
And
like,
so it just
they
turned
threw a
into people said civil as an orange was
Yeah,
a thing.
But so they were like, they threw a Seville orange, and he was like, not much of a civil
orange.
orange. And everyone went, oh, you're as funny as that Joe Miller.
Perfect.
Okay, we got
I
that
get
one,
that.
everybody. It's about Seville
That's cool.
oranges. Good on you. Good, you got to sell that one. You got to sell it. It has to
I
be.
feel very on the back foot because
Well,
you've got the computer to do all the research.
This is no Seville orange.
And I got nothing. I'm just
All right.
guessing here.
But how hard is it to read? Because like the quotations
I feel like
just start
generally I got lucky.
mid-sentence.
Mine wasn't too bad, but yeah, there aren't quotation marks here. You really got to figure this out.
All right, here, you ready?
Rarely are there full stops.
Okay. I got
You know
this.
how the big example I have. You know how in the American Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment, when you actually read it, punctuationally these days it's nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that.
And these were, I suppose, written at the
Yes,
same
exactly.
time.
Pretty similar.
All right, here we go. Ready? Joe Miller, sitting one day in the window at the Sun Tavern in Clare Street, a fisherwoman and her maid passing by. The woman cried, "Buy my souls, buy my maids." "Ah, you wicked old creature," said honest Joe. What are you not content to sell your own soul? You must sell your maids too?"
So, is a maid a type of fish? That feels like it makes sense, right? Like, by my souls as in type of fish. By my maids, another type
Or
of
is
fish.
the maid, or is it like the maid is also, because it says a fisherwoman and her maid
True.
pass by. Maybe the maid helps out and also sells soul.
Oh,
So it's like, buy my soul,
right,
buy my maid's
Is there?
soul.
I feel like I'm asking too much to say. Is there an apostrophe S?
No.
Of course
no,
not.
But there's also not like a full stop. or
No,
a- or
exactly.
a
I knew
quotation
that I
mark.
was being presumptuous, but that would have helped.
Is this the joke? It's
Like,
about
buy
selling
my
a
fishes
soul.
or buy my maid's fish.
Yeah, and says like, do you want me to
Yeah.
buy your soul or
Yeah.
your maid's soul?
Like, I definitely understand the soul pun.
think
It's
it's
the
about
maid
a-
bit that I'm not sure
this is
about.
no civil soul. All right, it's a joke about fish. I think it's a fish pun.
I just want to quickly Google if a maid is a fish, because
Fish-
that would help clarify.
Well, you can't do that. Your phone doesn't work.
It's true.
Is maid a fish? Did you mean is cod a fish? No. I don't think so. There's a maid.
Weirdly, when I Googled maid fish, I'm getting a fish called a scat.
Oh.
That's confusing.
I think the maid is also selling soul. I think it's about Soul the fish.
Does also seem like John Dory can be called old maid.
Okay, well, there you go. And maybe it was in the 1700s. So it's a fish pun. You're right. It does sound like she was selling maids as fish. I'm going to go 1700s maid fish. An old maid fish links us to the old maid fish and a picture of a fish market. I reckon that's it. I reckon it's her and her maid, but they were selling souls and maids.
Yeah, it could be. I have no way of knowing who called them maids, these fish. But, yeah, it seems like John Dory is, or was once upon a time, old maid, and is technically called a spot-banded scat. I've never heard that.
Ridiculous.
I
Okay.
prefer its other name, the striped butterfish.
Aw.
That sounds much tastier.
Okay, so we got that one.
Maybe.
Number 3, this is
Yeah.
hilarious. Joe Miller, what a funny guy who didn't tell any of these jokes in real life.
Okay. Ugh.
That must be one of the 3 that were meant to be told of John Miller or Joe Miller.
Oh, that was it?
Like, as in, like, he
just
is
those
referenced
ones?
in the... No.
What?
As in, the 3rd one has him as a character in
Yeah.
the story telling the joke.
Yeah.
Whereas the others, they would, like... In the first 2, in the joke, somebody else was telling the joke. So it might still be a Joe Miller joke, but it's Joe Miller telling about somebody else telling a joke, whereas this is somebody telling you about Joe Miller telling a joke. Must only happen 3 times.
I'm going to skip a couple.
You're going to
That's
skip
all.
a couple?
Skipping a couple.
All right, there's
They're
so
long,
many of
they're
them. We can just
boring.
pick them by number.
I'm not going very far. I just want to go to number 6.
Sure.
Maybe you read this one as well. 2 free-thinking authors proposed to a bookseller that was a little decayed in the world
Sure.
that if he would print their works, they would set him up. And indeed, they were as good as their word, for in 6 weeks' time, he was in the pillory.
He thought they were going to set him up with a
set him up
woman,
for life. Oh, what?
but instead he
I thought it was like set him up for
they
life with
set him
money.
up. You set me up. You set me up, you booksellers. Is that what happened? Is this the
Something
joke?
like that.
That's a fun joke.
I didn't interpret it as set him up with a woman. I interpreted it as set him up
for life.
financially.
Yeah, something good.
Yeah.
But instead it was the phrase, you set me up. How old is the phrase, you set me up? Hold on. Set me up. Phrase origin.
You set me up.
Need this. I want some origin. No one knows. No one knows within a 2-second Google, and I
Damn.
don't want to spend too much time. Oh wait, Cambridge Dictionary. What are you going to say?
Come on, Cambridge, help us out here.
No good history. We'd have to look this up separately. I don't have time for this now. But it looks like to set someone up, to trick someone, and get them in prison. I think they set him up.
Yep.
Good.
For sure.
It's a good bit. Good bit, Joe Miller. All right, my turn. I'm just going to scroll down a couple. We're up to 26. I'm not going to read them before I say them. Right? You can't pick them. You just got to do them. Are you ready? Danny's not ready. She's staring at her phone in consternation.
So to set someone up, as in to provide someone with means, is from at least the 1520s.
Great. So that was what Joe Miller wanted us to think.
Yep.
But instead he was in the pillory. I think we just have to take this as proof that the phrase is that old, as opposed to trying to figure out if it is that old and see if that's what the joke is.
But we aren't the first ones to have ever found this proof. It must exist somewhere.
Nah, no one's ever read these before. There's too many of them.
How about this? To bring someone to a vulnerable position or put someone in a position to be knocked down. Does that feel related to this one?
Yeah.
1950 boxing.
Okay, then that can't be right.
Yeah.
It's got to be...
1965 is to contrive or plot.
It's got to be earlier than that because Joe Miller's doing it.
Baffling. Yeah. That's a wild one.
Well, why do you get put in the pillory? Maybe we should figure that out. Why would you be put in the pillory? A variety of lesser crimes, dishonest trading and sedition, though the latter could have more extreme forms, frequently for public intoxication during the colonial period. All right, maybe there's something else going on here.
I don't think so. I think we've got it.
I think we've cracked it. All right. 26 starts with 2 words. I really want to get into it.
Okay.
A Welchman.
Welchman?
A Welchman.
Okay.
So not a Welshman, but a Welchman.
Sure.
Does that mean Welshman? It's CH instead of SH. A Welchman, bragging of his family, said his father's effigy was set up in Westminster Abbey. Being asked whereabouts, he said, in the same monument with Squire Thins, for he was his coachman.
Oh, that's the end.
That's it. He's like, so I think the joke there is, first of all, he's Welsh, so he can't be very high class because he's a bit of a Welsh. And he's like, hey, my father has an effigy in Westminster Abbey. And like, what? Where? It's like, he's the guy driving the coach for the actual famous person. He's the coachman for Squire Thin, and everyone's like, Squire Thin, I love Squire Thin. But it's like, he was just the coachman.
Sure.
I guess that's
Yeah.
I guess that's the bit.
He wasn't a rich, famous person. That's funny.
Be like, oh, you know, my ancestor was buried in a royal tomb. Yeah, he was one of the slaves that was buried with the king. I think it's that. It's a bit of that as a joke, I guess, but more recent.
I'm looking up Welshman. Yeah, it's well. I
Just
mean,
Welsh or from
no,
Welshams?
that's definitely what automatically pops up. It's really not wanting to show me. What does Welsh mean in Welsh?
Okay, we don't need to know what a Welshman is, Danny. We got the
Welsh
joke.
being an older spelling variant of Welsh.
Cool.
Okay, so this is an English guy. Is Joe Miller English?
Yeah.
Making fun of Welsh people.
Yeah.
Timeless.
It was funny back then as well.
Apparently, it was that Welsh people are poorer than you.
Yeah. They couldn't be cool. They had to be losers. Bloody Joe Miller. Give me another one, Danny. Feel free to scroll down as far as you can. There's literally hundreds, and we're only at 26. I just went scroll and then stopped my thumb at some point and just picked what was there. You can't pre-read either. You can't select for quality. You have to just go for one. Is anybody enjoying this at home? Are you having fun reading these? This is great. These are so weird.
Ridiculous. Okay. We got some royal humor here, apparently. Do you know anything about King Charles II?
Oh, was he the really bad one?
I don't know.
Was that King Charles the...
Charles I got killed by people.
Was Charles II the one who
In
came
revolt.
back, who had to leave and then came back in during the... Was he like in for 2 seconds before the Civil War?
I don't remember.
Technically as king and then had to leave and then came back?
There
Let's
was
look up
one
Charles
king
II.
in like the 1600s who cowered out for a while.
Charles II. All right. Yeah. He was King of Scotland from 1649 until 1651.
Yeah, that sounds like about
And King
the
of
right
England,
time.
Scotland, and Ireland from the 1660 restoration of the monarchy.
Gotcha.
So he was out during
Yeah.
the Civil War.
Okay, so with that context,
He was the eldest surviving child of Charles I of England, Scotland, Ireland, but he was no longer king because they kicked out the kings.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
We got some Charles II context.
King Charles II, having ordered a new suit of clothes to be made, just at a time when addresses were coming up to him from all parts of the kingdom, Tom Killigrew went to the tailor and
Sure.
ordered him to make a very large pocket on one side of the coat, and one so small on the other that the king could hardly get his hand into it. Which, seeming very odd when they were brought home, he asked the meaning of it. The tailor said, Mr. Killigrew ordered it so. Killigrew, being sent for and interrogated, said one pocket was for the addresses of His Majesty's subjects, and the other for the money they would give him.
What the hell is happening? What is this joke? No, wait, which side's the big pocket?
Well,
Is the
it
big
said
pocket
that-
for the money?
It said that it was just at a time when addresses were coming up to him from all parts of the kingdom. So is this not a joke about the king? Is this a joke about the subject wants stuff but won't pay for it to be done?
Maybe?
Is this a joke about anti-tax people?
I don't know. He's got a big pocket for the addresses. Because they
And
all
a
want
small
something from
pocket
him.
for the
but a
money
small
they
pocket
would give the
for
king.
the money. Or does he have a small pocket? There's not that many addresses, but they'll give him lots of money because he's fun. I must be the other way around.
Well, that would
Is
be
this pro or
funnier,
anti-king?
but
Is this like poor king, no one gives him money? Or is it like, screw you, king, wanting money from everybody? Like, I don't understand the politics here.
no.
I'm not going to Google Joe Miller monarchist. We're just going to scroll down, and I'm going to stop my thumb here on 79. Oh, it's long, and it's got a poem in it. Let's
Oh
go.
no, I don't want to do that.
Let's go. When Sir Cloudsley Shovel, already funny, set out on his last expedition, there was a form of prayer composed by the Archbishop of Canterbury for the success of the fleet, in which his grace made use of this unlucky expression that he begged God would be a rock of defence to the fleet, which occasioned the following lines to be made upon the monument set up for him in Westminster Abbey, he being cast away in that expedition on the rocks,
Oh dear.
called The Bishop and His Clerks. As Lambeth prayed, such was the dire event, else had we wanted now this monument, that God unto our fleet would be a rock, nor did kind heaven the wise petition mock. To what the metropolitans said then, the bishop and his clerks replied, Amen. Bwah, 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 ba-da, bwah, bwah, Joe Miller's Jests.
So someone prayed that there would be a rock, as in like a good foundation, bedrock sort
and then
of
the
thing.
fleet hit a rock.
Yeah.
And that was a cruel
And they
irony.
went,
They
well,
made.
thanks God.
They're like, nice one, idiot. Is that the bit?
I think that's
We
the
can't
bit.
keep. We got to do another one. At some point, we got to move on to more modern jokes and riddles, everybody, because this
Let's
is.
go right to the end. Maybe they'll start speaking English.
Just stop there. What are you up to? What number?
242.
All right, go for 242. Maybe this is where the real gems, they say, are between 230 and 250.
No, I've got to read the next one. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Why?
It's very short.
All right, go for 243.
Metellus Nepos asking Cicero, the Roman orator,
Ooh.
in a scoffing manner, who was his father.
Yep.
Cicero
I don't know why, but sure.
Cicero replied, "Thy mother has made that question harder for thee to answer."
Oh!
I had to read it because there's no doubt about what that one means. That was
Are you
easy.
kidding me? Come on, give me another read of the same fun. Give it again, give it again, give it again. Come on, Joe Miller and Cicero making your mum jokes.
Beautiful.
1730s your mum jokes. Give it to me one more time. Read it again.
Metellus Nepos asking Cicero the Roman orator, in a scoffing manner, who was his father. Cicero replied, "Thy mother has made that question harder for thee to answer."
Whoa, your mum has so many men you don't even know your dad is. Metellus Nephus, whatever your name was. Cicero. Okay, this was all worth it. It's all worth it for a good your mum joke from 1730, talking about a your mum joke from 100 BC. I don't know exactly when Cicero was.
That was nice.
That was fantastic.
I like it when they make sense.
All right, I'll get us into the 300s. At 307, I haven't read it. Let's go. A countryman in the street inquiring the way to Newgate, an arch fellow that hurt. I hate reading these. A countryman in the street inquiring the way to Newgate, an arch fellow that heard him, said he'd show him presently. "Do but go across the way," said he, "to yon goldsmith's shop, and move off with one of those silver tankards, and it will bring you thither presently." Is Newgate a prison?
Maybe.
Newgate prison sounds like something. Let me just Google Newgate prison. Newgate prison.
Hey.
It was
Beautiful.
opened in 1188
Oh, that's nice.
and closed in 1902.
Good.
There was a prison there
Oh.
for friggin' 800 years.
Man. And it closed just as Australia became a country.
Yeah, they ran out of space in Newgate prison. They sent them all. Originally the site of Newgate, it was originally where a gate was in the Roman London
So
Wall.
it was a very good thing that we looked up the pillories before to find out exactly how much they frowned upon public intoxication.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
But this, I think, was just theft. It was just steal a silver tankard.
I thought it was go and drink from a silver tankard.
No. So he's like, "Hey, what's the way to Newgate?" And the guy
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, why don't you go to yon goldsmith's shop?
Oh, right, forgot it was a goldsmith.
Move off with one of those silver tankards, and it will bring you thither presently."
Yep, that's
so it
fair.
just says, "Commit a crime to go to prison, idiot."
Makes sense.
Hey, do you know the way to Alcatraz? How about you shoot that guy? Dummy! Although this says it was opened in 1769.
Oh.
But this says it opened in 1188.
All right, there's some questions.
I don't care. I'm not going to answer them. People can answer them at home. Give me another one, Danny. This is great. I'm having more fun as we get into the couple of hundreds.
All right. I've got one that's got a full stop.
Got to give me a number, though.
337.
All right.
A poor woman in the country sent her son to a gentleman's house upon some errand or other. The loitering lad stayed somewhat too long, looking upon a dog in the wheel that turned the spit, so that when he came home, his mother beat him soundly. Execution ended, the boy told her, if she had been there, she would have stayed as long as he, and she demanding the reason, he said, "Oh, mother, it would have done you good to have seen how daintily a dog on a wheel spun roast meat."
Okay, so first of all, hold on, wait. First of all, a dog, people used to spin meat to cook it by putting a dog in a hamster wheel and having it walk to spin the meat.
Can you Google
And then
that in
the
some
joke-
fashion?
And then the joke is
your
the
mum
dog
can't cook?
The dog cooks better than you do, Mum. Hey, Mum, you would have learned a lot from this dog because you don't know how to rotate friggin' meat on a fire. The dog's a better cook than you. Making fun of his mother's cooking by using a dog in a hamster wheel?
The difference between the stuff that you still would find in the 90s
Dog
today.
Wheel spit.
Still would find in the 90s today? Yeah, whatever.
Look at this picture.
Oh my god! That's a dog in a raised hamster wheel.
This is an old like I don't want not it's like a sketch or a woodblock print or like a sketch from like the 1800s, and it's a picture of a kitchen, and there's people eating. There's a little boy being like, "Hello, miss, can you give me an apple from your little basket?" And people chatting, talking, and a woman watching the fire, and there is meat
There's a
on
spit
the
roast.
fire, spit roast on the fire, just like it looks like a normal fireplace. And above her head, like 5 feet in the air, there is a dog in a hamster wheel that is suspended from a beam on the ceiling, just running
with
along,
like a rope attached to it or
possibly
something.
chasing the meat that's been hanging in front of him.
No!
This is the article is called "The Rise and Fall of the Working Dog That Turned the Spit." This is amazing. This was a real thing. Dogs used to cook food for everybody.
Can we make this like a lateral question or something? This feels like it needs to be there.
Yeah. Hey,
Why was a dog in the kitchen?
If you're Tom Scott,
Stop
get out of
listening.
here. I don't want you listening to my show. Not for now. We're coming. A turn spit dog. This was just a thing.
What breed is that? Looks like
That's a pre-breed dog. Dan.
yeah,
That's
it's got
just
a
dog.
Dachshund's face, but a dog's body.
I'm so happy.
Oh god, that's not a dog. Why are you showing? What the hell is that? Sorry, that was just some picture of taxidermied something that didn't work out quite right.
Here's a cartoon about
Oh,
it. Yeah. From Vanity Fair. Can you change me on the turnspit? It's getting real hot, says one dog to another.
Sure.
Sure. I saw Pippi the other day. He said he's working the wheel at an apothecary. Is that true?
Yeah, they use the wheel to make pills. Oh, there's more.
He also claimed he's got a
He
sure
also
spot.
claimed he's got a sure spot at the Queen's place when he retires.
What a flea bag. Okay, that joke needs more. That's a Joe Miller. That's a bit of a Joe Miller, isn't it? Okay, that's amazing. I'm so glad we did this. Is everybody at home just freaking out about the fact that it was just a normal thing?
Or again, are we latecomers and everybody knows
But I
this?
also love that the kid was just got there and he was like, "Look at that dog."
I know.
Look at that
I feel for
dog.
this kid.
And it's made fun of his mum. This is the best thing we've ever done in our lives. Okay, can we go back
This
and
is the only
can we
history
make this a
lesson I've
new
ever had.
series? Can we make that a new podcast called Learning History Through Joe Miller's Jokes?
That's interesting. That's an idea that I'm sure has some legs for someone.
All right. Hey, Danny, I'm not going to read 362, but can you have a look at 362 and be
Oh god, how
confused?
racist is it?
No, I'm just confused. Everybody's names are blanked out.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Are they swears
they meant to be
or
swear
are they
words?
just people who really wanted to be kept anonymous?
It's very strange. Everyone's names have been crossed out in the middle. It's very odd.
You know that old-fashioned thing that they do where they just use really like long dashes,
Yeah,
which I thought was for swearing, but
maybe it is. All right, we'll do 363. One Mr. Ash, who was himself a famous puntster in Ireland, coming into an inn, desired the landlord to lend him a hand to pull off his great coat. "Indeed, sir," said he, "I dare not." "Dare not?" replied the other. "What do you mean by that?" "You know, sir," answered he, "there is an Act of Parliament against stripping of ash."
okay, well I don't know what stripping of ash means unless
Something
it's
to
the
do with trees, right? You can't take. Was it illegal to take the bark off an ash tree? And so when a man called Ash turns up,
I mean,
you
yeah, I
can't
get
take his
that's
coat
the
off.
joke.
Is that
And
the bit?
Yeah, that's the dad joke of the times. This is when Joe Miller had children, I take it.
Stripping of ash law. Oh wait, no, hold on.
Or is it like stealing people's fireplace ash?
It might be. Oh no, how are we going to figure this out?
I don't know. What's the other possible context? We'll figure out some good
That it's a
keywords.
I just see an owner or occupier of residential land must not cause or allow any chimney to discharge dust, grit, ash, or smoke. Maybe that's part of it. Stripping of ash. I'm gonna just put stripping of ash in. Or it could be a thing to do with farming. This is weird. And then I get a link to Joe Miller's Jests. This is so weird. There's only 2 pages of results.
Oh,
No, there's only
wow.
1 page of results. Okay. Stripping of ash. So weird. I mean, I get the joke. I just don't know why there was
Yeah.
a law against stripping of ash. All right, we'll never know. If anyone has a good explanation of stripping of ash, I'd love to hear it. It's your turn, Danny.
All right.
Who are you gonna?
Let's get to the 400s.
This is very weird. All right. What's next? You can't read. You can't check them. You got to just read them. That's part of the game.
No, it's just you see a couple of words and you go, wait, I just got to make sure this isn't disgusting.
True.
But no, it's okay.
Let's go.
A schoolmaster asking one of his boys in a sharp wintry morning what was Latin for cold. The boy hesitated a little. What, sirrah, said he. Can't you tell? Yes,
Wait, did
yes.
you say Syrah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Sirrah, sirrah.
That's so cool. Instead of sir, just Syrah.
Oh, well, maybe that's the professor talking to the boy.
Oh, what does Syrah mean? How do you spell Syrah?
Sirrah.
S-I-R-R-A-H or
A-H.
A-H. A term used to address a man or a boy, especially one younger or of lower status. I'm going to start calling people Syrah. They're going to be like, what?
And they're not going to realize how insulted they should be.
It's just sire with R at the end.
Well, so, the boy hesitated a little. What, sirrah, can't you tell? Yes, yes, replied the boy. I have it at my fingers' ends. 'Cause it was winter and he was cold. But I also don't know if the Latin word for cold plays any part of this.
Isn't that like Frigidaire? Latin for cold. It's frigus. I think it sounds like fingers.
Okay.
Oh God, my fingers. My. What does he say?
Fingers' ends is what he says.
Maybe? I don't know. It's frigus. I'm very confused. Hold on, can I have a read? Can I see if it makes any
411.
A schoolmaster asked one of his boys in a sharp, wintry morning what was Latin for cold. The boy hesitated a little. What, sirrah, said he. Can't you tell? Yes, yes, replied the boys. I have it at my fingers' ends. Fingers' ends. Fingers' ends. There's also gelu.
That's...
But I'm so confused.
Yeah. Maybe it's nothing.
Friggers?
Maybe the joke is just, he's got cold hands. And there's no deeper pun to it.
That's so weird. Come on, Joe Miller, tell me about a joke. Give me more dog facts, because that was great. Here we go. 471. Some thievish fellows being at a tavern, they agreed amongst themselves to steal the silver cup that was brought up to them, and when they were going by the bar, you are welcome, gentlemen, kindly welcome, cried the landlord. Ah, said the fellow with the cup to himself, I wish we were well gone, too. Oh, Joe Miller. You see, he said you are welcome, but they wanted to be well gone with the stuff they sold.
There was too much context for that joke.
Good one, little Joe Miller. That was not a good joke, everybody, but that wasn't much of a puzzle. But the next one's going to be a real puzzler. It's going to stump us. It's like doing the 2-minute mysteries sometimes. For people who haven't listened to if you're not a Patreon donor, we do 2-minute mysteries and often we solve them, but sometimes we're just caught up with some random turn of phrase from 1960 that is meaningless to us.
All right. I have one. It is incredibly short.
Okay,
You need to look up a person first.
All right, let me look up first. Okay,
Yep.
I'm going to look up a person to get context for this joke. Who am I looking up?
Sir John Cutler.
Sir John Cutler. First baronet, 1603 to 1693. Was an English grocer, financier, and member of parliament.
Okay.
He became a successful
makes sense.
grocer who participated in land speculation, acquiring the combined Gawthorpe and Harwood castle estates in Yorkshire in 1653, knighted in 1660, and created a baronet of London later the same year. He was master of the Worshipful Company of Grocers of the City of London 4 times.
Okay.
God, I love this stuff. Like the Worshipful
Back
Company of
before
Grocers.
capitalism had fully taken hold of every job, what weird jobs existed?
4 times he became a councilman and alderman in the City of London. He paid for much of the rebuilding of Grocers' Hall after the Great Fire of London. He was a Fellow of the Royal Society in 1664, High Sheriff of Kent in 1676, He was treasurer for the building of St. Paul's Cathedral.
Treasurer makes sense. I get that. Okay, so for this joke, just keep in mind that he was he was a money dude.
Okay.
That's all that matters, apparently.
Yeah, treasurer for the building of St. Paul's Cathedral. I don't care that he was a grocer.
No. One day, Sir John Cutler looked very dismally when night came on, not because it brought darkness with it, but because daylight saved him a candle.
So did he just become... Okay, hold on. No. I got to follow this up again.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to go back to St. Paul's Cathedral, and I'm going to see if, famously, when it was being built, it was like penny pinchingly built or something.
I mean, I don't know how you plan on finding that.
Okay. Yeah.
Some of these ones, this is the equivalent of like finding modern political cartoons in a newspaper in 500 years and having to try to figure out who the politicians were just based on that.
All right. The building was financed by a tax on coal. So maybe people were mad about that. It's like you didn't want to spend your own money, you had to tax all the coal to pay for it? Maybe there's a bit about that.
Maybe. But okay. Finance and cheapness. Done.
He was
nice and easy.
Synonym for cheapness.
You make fun of a person for being cheap.
All right, last
that
one.
belongs in a joke book. That's fair. Last one.
Or how much do you want to do?
Well, I figure you started. I should at least finish.
That's true. Okay, last two.
Yeah.
We're not even halfway through.
Oh my, what? I thought you said there was 600.
I made that up apparently.
Oh my God.
I'm going to give you 773.
Okay.
These were the copious editions. Remember the first edition came out with 200 of these?
Yep.
Among the addresses present... No, I'm not dealing with addresses again. I'm gone. I don't know what they are. Okay, let's go. Hold on. It's also about candles again. Among the addresses presented upon the accession of James I was one from the ancient town of Shrewsbury, wishing his majesty might reign as long as the sun, moon, and stars endured. Faith, mon, said the king. Don't know why he said faith, mon. Faith, mon, said the king to the person who... Faith, mon, said the king to the person who presented it. If I do, my son must reign by candlelight.
Hold on, that feels like it should make perfect sense, but I clearly just lost it from sentence to sentence.
Mon. Here we go. Among the addresses presented upon the accession of James I.
Someone from
So
Shrewsbury.
now we know that addresses are just like letters being like, nice work, man, good kingship.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the whole joke before. It was like all these people are messaging you saying how good you are, like how nice it is to see you
but
as
not
king,
actually giving
but
you
your
anything.
little pocket, no one's going to give you any money.
Did people expect to give the king money just
give
for
him a coronation
fun?
present.
Did people still... Did that happen to Charles III this year?
Everyone gave him like $100.
Everyone just paying
If
him?
you passed him, you had to give him $100. Was one... So he got an address from the ancient town of Shrewsbury.
Yep.
Not relevant. Wishing his majesty might reign as long as the sun, moon, and stars endured.
Yes.
Faith, mon, said the king to the person who presented it. If I do, my son must reign by candlelight. Because by the time his son's king, there won't be any sun or moon or stars. And then what's his son going to do? He has to reign by candlelight.
Yeah, okay.
Idiots. And then, sorry, there was one more sentence I missed. He then had the town of Shrewsbury destroyed. That's how you tell a joke, Joe Miller. Especially because you didn't tell that joke. It's 773rd.
All right, I'm scrolling.
I'm
scrolling as far as I can scroll.
There might be thousands of these by
There
this
are
point.
thousands of these.
Give me another one.
Okay. A ship... This is 1,250.
Oh my God.
Can
we do all of these?
I'm also going to read the next one
Tell
for
us
sure.
if you want us to do all of these or if you never want us to do these again. I would like feedback via email.
I'm going to read the next few. They're all amazing. The next two are amazing.
But via email, via Twitter, via Discord.
Just throw a number at us and we'll read it.
Tell me if you ever want to hear these again or if you want to hear like all of them. I would do it. Or
just start putting numbers in our Discord.
Yeah, I'm going to make a chat for Joe Miller's Jests where you can where anyone can post one. There's going to be a Discord thread. There's going to be a whole new channel. So if you're listening to this and you want to do more Joe Miller's Jests, join the Discord. We'll do them there.
Okay, so I haven't read this one yet, but I've just skimmed the next ones and I want them. Okay, 1,250. A ship being in a storm at sea was in great danger, whereupon the captain commanded every man to throw into the sea his heaviest things. A passenger who
Someone
had
threw his
his
wife?
wife
Oh,
then
he's got a-
offered to throw her overboard.
He's got a fat wife, everybody.
But the crew saved her and asked him whether he was mad to try to throw her overboard. Who answered, "Well, she is the heaviest thing I have, and I can best spare her. I assure you, she has long been a heavy burden to me. I pray, therefore, let me throw her over." That joke went way too long.
Yeah, like we got the joke, Joe.
Was this the first ever "my wife" joke? So he
Please
needed
take
to
my
explain
wife.
it?
The first ever, please take my wife.
Now, the fun
But
part.
I think that's saying that she's not fat. I think it's just that she's a heavy burden emotionally.
It sort of is, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think she was a fat
But
wife.
you know the most fun part that I didn't express as I read it out? She has long been a heavy burden to me. It doesn't quite say burden.
What does it say?
It says burthen.
burthen.
It says burthen.
A burthen to me.
Yep.
Come on, freaks. Stop
I
making
love
jokes.
back before spelling was a thing. Oh, it's fun.
But you want to do more?
I
You want to
really
more? Let's
do.
keep
They're
going.
really
Are there
short.
more your wife jokes?
No, oh, maybe. I don't know. They're really short, though. So this one. A talking barber once asked a gentleman in what fashion he would be trimmed. In silence, was the reply.
Ooh, so he turned him into a pie. That's it? That's the whole joke?
That's the whole joke. It's
Fantastic. You got to get... Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The early ones, they were from the first edition. They were 1700s jokes. We're on to
I know.
1800s jokes now.
And
they're...
we're piecing our way up to
We're getting to Oscar
Dickens
Wilde.
jokes, Oscar
We're
Wilde
getting
jokes.
to
This is
people
where
who are
they're good
actually
stuff.
funny. I was laughing during reading those Dickens short stories. I laughed
You
out loud
were.
a few times. There were some good bits there. There were some good bits in the Dickens.
But we're also now back to, oh, yep, some things don't change. Someone nowadays would still make a stand-up joke about not knowing how to talk to their hairdresser.
True.
Okay.
That's a Justin McElroy joke. They said, how would I like my haircut? And I said, in silence.
All right, 1252. It is related of a well-known magistrate of times past that being often deceived by false rumours of Queen Elizabeth's death, he
Okay.
protested he would never believe she was dead until he saw it under her own hand.
What?
He wouldn't believe that she was dead unless she wrote that she was dead herself.
All right. I guess so. Very, this just happened to us. I still don't think Elizabeth II's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because she never told me.
Okay, gotta scroll up a little bit. It looks like from 1286 onwards, it's poems.
What?
It's epitaphs.
give me some poems.
Oh, it's epitaphs.
Give me some poems.
Here lies a lady who, if not belied, took wise St. Paul's advice and all things tried, nor stopped she here, but followed through the rest and always stuck the longest to the best. What? What does
I don't
this
like this.
mean? No,
I don't trust
I'm going
this
back up to
anymore.
the
Go
jokes.
back to the jokes. We don't need no poems.
All right, so 1286 seems to be the last joke.
All right, give me the final joke before the poems start.
A lecturer on the history of chemistry thus described the celebrated Mr. Boyle, of Boyle's Law, I assume.
Oh.
He was a great man, a very great man. He was father of modern chemistry and brother of the Earl of Cork.
I like that. That's
did
a bit.
Boyle did stuff with corks, didn't he?
Oh.
I know Hook did stuff with corks. Maybe
don't
Boyle
know.
did as well.
Boyle, Corks. He was the first Earl of
Oh,
Cork.
okay, so nothing fancy. Yeah,
Maybe.
I think Hook did stuff with cork. Just as other scientists.
I think it's just a funny bit about being the
Yep.
father of chemistry, but
Yep.
the brother of the Duke of
I
Cork.
guess that's
I
funny.
think that's a bit of a bit. I don't mind that.
Whatever.
All right, one more. I'll read one more.
All right.
Because you just read 8 in a row. I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to read wherever my scroll stops. Still
Oh
going.
boy.
Still going. Still going. Slowing down. There we are. 584. It's a massive one. An Hibernian officer, being once in company with several who belonged to the same corps, one of them, in a laugh, said he would lay a dozen of claret that the Irishman made a bull before any other of the party.
What?
Done, said Terence. The wager was laid, and by way of puzzling him, he was asked how many bulls there were in that town. 5, said he. How do you make them out, said the other. Faith, said he, there is the black bull in the marketplace, and the red bull over the way. Then there is the pied bull just by the bridge, and the white bull at the corner. They are but 4, said the other. Why, arrah, said he, there is that dim cow in the butcher row. That's a bull, said the other. By Jesus. By Jesus. Then I have won my wager, said he, and you have made the bull and not me. What the hell is happening in this question, in this joke? Nobody knows what it is
I
to
think
make
he
a
called
bull.
the butcher fat or something.
No.
Oh, please.
I think. Okay, I don't know what it is to make a bull, whatever. But I think. Because I think it's. He says it's a dim cow. And he says, oh, that's a bull.
Yeah.
I think it's like that's a lie, maybe. And then he's like, aha, but now you made the bull and not me. I don't know. What is it to make a bull in the 1700s?
I'm trying to look it up. No, Urban Dictionary, I don't want you.
Because then, like, it's so strange. It's like, oh, I reckon you'll make a bull before anyone else. Okay, bet taken. Great. How many bulls are there in town? Like, what are you talking about? I'm so confused. This is the most insane thing I've ever read. They're linked by Irishness and bulls, Danny.
Yep.
583, the one before this.
Mm-hmm.
A quartermaster in a regiment of light horse, who was about 6 feet high and very corpulent, was joking with an Irishman concerning the natural proneness of his countrymen to make bulls in conversation.
What?
By my soul, said the Irishman, Ireland has never made such a bull in all her lifetime as England did when she made a light horseman of you. I think a bull is like a joke or a mistake.
Yeah, I guess.
And he's making fun of this guy for being a light horseman, even though he's such a big, giant, heavy man. So it's like, hey, no one in Ireland's ever made a bull as big as putting you on and saying you're a light horseman because you're gigantic. Ha 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 ha. What a funny bit about a big fat man.
We need to find a short, funny one to finish.
We're stuck in the Irish. I'll keep going
I
back
don't
to the
want to
Irish
keep
section.
doing Irish jokes.
An Irish officer in battle happening to bow, a cannonball passed over his head and took off the head of a soldier who stood behind him.
Cool.
You see, said he, that a man never loses by politeness.
Okay, I'll take that. That's fine. That's very Kingsman of him. It feels like the flavor of Irish jokes has changed over time. It kind of feels like the Irishman are the witty gentleman of the joke.
Yeah.
When did that change?
Well, here's one about St. Ignatius. A devout lady offered up a prayer to St. Ignatius for the conversion of her husband. A few days after the good man died... Sorry. God, the grammar of these is so hard. A few days after, the good man died. What a good saint is our Ignatius, exclaimed the consolable widow. He bestows on us more benefits than we ask for.
She hated her husband.
He's a heavy burden to me.
He's a heavy what, sorry?
A burden to me. I just don't understand these.
We've been lucky enough to understand the ones we have, and we got the dog wheel.
You give me one more.
Great.
One more. Pick
Last
a round. I'm going to pick a number for you. Can
Oh.
you try and find 802? I've picked in my head. I would like joke 802, and we're going to laugh and laugh and laugh, and we're going to learn about our shared history. Give me 802. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. These are jokes and japes.
There is a celebrated reply of Mr. Curran to a remark of Lord Clare, who exclaimed at one of his legal positions, "Oh, if that be the law, Mr. Curran, I may burn my law books." "Better read them, my lord," was the sarcastic and appropriate rejoinder.
Oh, he's a bad lawyer. Bad lawyer.
Yay.
This is it. This is the episode. We're 55 minutes in, Danny.
Oh,
We're done.
okay. I didn't think this was going to work. I just haven't even continued. I don't want to read 803 because it's long, but I note that the first three words are Rock, the comedian. There was just a comedian called
The
Rock. Not The Rock, just Rock.
Danny, I don't want to stop. I want to do
No,
another
this is
one.
great.
Give me another one. Any one.
No, pick a number.
All right, 699. I want just before 700. Give me 699, the best one. Danny, how old is the concept that 69 is a funny number? What if you go to 69 and it's like, hey, look at the number of this joke. Ha 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 ha. Bye, I'm Joe Miller.
A robustious countryman.
Okay,
Robustious countryman.
Robustious countryman.
Meeting a physician.
I hope you're all liking this at home. I'm loving it.
A robustious countryman, meeting a physician, ran to hide behind a wall. Being asked the cause, he replied, "It is so long since I have been sick that I am ashamed to look a physician in the face."
Because he's so robustious. He's so robustious.
All right, you go all the
This
way
is
back and
better-
you scroll down to number 69.
This is what we need
Wait,
to-
go to 420 first.
I don't want to go to 69. I'm
I
happy
want to know
up
what
here.
joke 69 is.
Alright, we'll do 420. I went too far. This will be good bonus content if we get onto our Shakespeare show.
Oh,
If we get our Shakespeare show going, it should be like every now and then we take a break to be like, we're going to do some jokes from the 1700s. All right, 420.
Oh, that looks long.
No, it's short.
Oh, thank
There's
God.
just so many of them.
Okay.
A certain great man who had been a furious party man, and most surprisingly changed sides, by which he obtained a coronet, was soon after at cards at a place where Lady Trent was. Her name has been blanked out.
Yeah.
And complaining in the midst of the game that he had a great pain in his side. I thought your lordship had no side, said she.
I don't know what, like, was that a politics joke?
I don't
When
know.
it says that he was a party man, is it a political
Oh,
party?
he was a party
And he changed
man.
sides?
He was a furious party man. He was a member of a political party. Then he changed sides, by which he obtained a coronet. Don't know why. And then he was like, oh, I've got a pain in my side. And she was like, well, I didn't think you had any sides.
Maybe it was royalist versus non-royalist.
Maybe. Okay. Now down to 69. And
Okay.
we'll end there.
Yeah.
Like
Well, actually, I have
idiots.
something, and I have something else that I would like to Google to finish off once
Oh,
we've
sure.
found joke 69.
Sorry. I apologize. I have to do 68 first.
Oh, okay.
I don't think 68 is going to be funny, but you'll see why I have to do it.
Yeah.
68. Mr. Congreve, going up the water in a boat, one of the watermen told him, as they passed by Peterborough House, that the house had sunk a story. No, friend, said he, I rather believe it is a story raised.
I don't know why you wanted that. Why did you specifically want that?
Okay. 69. The aforesaid house,
Oh.
which is the very last in London, by one way, being rebuilt. So there you go. So I had to go to 68.
Okay.
The aforesaid house. Sorry, by the way, 68 was the joke like, oh, that went down, that sunk a story. And he's like, no, you just told me a story. So it's actually raised a story
I
in
thought it was
conversation.
more like raising a question, like saying, oh, no, what? I thought it was like raising questions.
It's so
But yeah,
hard to
same
say.
thing.
The aforesaid house, which is the very last in London one way, being rebuilt, a gentleman asked another who lived in it. His friend told him, Sir Robert Grosvenor. I don't know, said the first, what estate Sir Robert has, but he ought to have a very good one, for nobody lives beyond him in the whole town. I think this is a joke about living beyond someone being better than them and having more, but
But
in this
also
case it
being at
was
the
no
far
one. In this case,
stretch.
it was a joke about no one living beyond him because
Yes.
it's the last house in London.
I guess.
Bad joke, Joe, but I love it. Oh, these were so
Ugh.
much stupid fun.
So the last thing that I wanted you to do,
Yes, what am I Googling?
I just want you to Google oldest joke book. How old can we get?
Oh, that's an ancient Egyptian joke book, surely. Oldest joke book. Philogelos. No, that's something different.
That's
No, Philogelos,
Is it
the
ancient Greek
first
jokes?
joke book.
Ancient Greek jokes?
Okay. Philogelos, the first joke book. The Philogelos, typically translated as the Joker or the one who loves laughter, is an ancient Greek collection of approximately 265 jokes, dating to the 4th or 5th century CE. So that's pretty old.
It's pretty
It
old.
typically bears the title of the world's oldest surviving collection of jokes. Someone's created some cartoons. I don't want the cartoons, I want the
Oh,
original.
No, come on.
I want. Oh, this is cartoons like a bunch of the jokes. Give me a copy of the Philogelos. Can I get a copy on Wikipedia? Philogelos, also titled The Jests of Heracles and Philagrius.
Amazing.
Give me a copy of the Philogelos. Hold on, do I have to like go to I put let me type. I put Philogelos and I want to search PDF. Give me a PDF of Philogelos. No, I want the original. Full text of the Jests
yeah.
of Heracles and Philagrius. This is a translation by Charles Clinch Bubb.
One hell of a name.
I don't want the forward. I don't want any of this forward. Give me the first joke.
Scroll down to the middle somewhere.
Here we go. This is the section called The Pedants. A pedant ordered a silversmith to make a lamp, and when the letter inquired how large he should make it, he replied, large enough for 8 men.
What?
A pedant, whilst swimming, almost choked to death. He made an oath that he would not go into the water again until he had first learned to swim well.
What?
A certain person coming to a pedant, who was a physician, said, Doctor, when I awake from sleep, I have a dizziness for half an hour and then I recover. The physician replied, get up after the half hour.
Well, they had doctor jokes.
A certain person asked a pedant, who had a horse for sale, if he had thrown once, that is, shed its first teeth, or was mature.
Okay.
When the latter answered that it had thrown twice, he asked, how is that? The pedant replied, once when he threw me and once when he threw my father.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
Okay, we can stop now. This is a whole nother thing. The
I'll never stop.
translation is a bit depressing because it makes it a bit too easy to
A certain
understand.
person meeting a pedant said, Master Pedant, I dreamed I met you. By the gods, he replied. Not replied, he replied.
Cool.
I was so busy I did not notice. A pedant, seeing his family physician approaching, hid from him. Upon being asked by one of... Oh my god!
It's the same
Oh
joke!
my god! It's the same joke!
joke!
It's the same joke! A pedant, seeing his family physician approaching, hid from him. Upon being asked by one of his companions why he did this, he replied, I have not been ill for such a long time. I am ashamed to meet him. This is the best thing that ever happened to us. It's the same joke. This Joe Miller wannabe stole a joke from the oldest. It's literally the oldest joke. He took the oldest joke and he put it into his new book and he said, Joe Miller said this. Joe Miller didn't say it. It was Philogenes or Philogelos. Like, oh my God.
Oh my god. I think we have to end that.
That's it.
I think we cracked this ancient joke
We
thief
did it.
case that we didn't know
This
we
is the-
were solving.
Bye, everybody. That's amazing. It's the same joke. Beautiful pedants. You beautiful pedants.
I hope you stuck with us through this. Those people who bowed out in the first 2 minutes.
If you were like, oh, I don't get these
man.
jokes, this is a bad bit, you didn't stay for the hour to earn this moment. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I don't know when we'll be back. We're working on the
crying
new
now.
season. It's coming. There'll still be some bonuses. So just chill and hang out and wait a couple of weeks for more fun. Oh, bye.